Welcome to Quik Reaction TV. Hit that subscribe and notification bell so you won't miss an episode. It's free and helps the channel grow. Now let's get into it. Quick!
This video is for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research.
Talks back, I guess. So what better way to kick things off than with the story? The story of why A$AP Rocky got arrested for attempted... Oh, y'all ain't know A$AP Rocky facing 25 years? Damn. Well, this is what happened. Now, first things first, for those of you that don't know, his name isn't A$AP Rocky. His name is Rocky. Well, his name is Rakim, but his stage name is Rocky. A$AP is the group he's a part of. Here's A$AP Yams, A$AP Ferg, and a couple other A$AP folk. And hey, this guy's also part of the group. His name is A$AP Relly, but he's the guy A$AP Rocky allegedly... I know what you're thinking. Wait a second, you just said they was part of the same group. A$AP, I know what I said, but that don't change the facts though. Because you see, A$AP Rocky had a problem. He was always the face of the A$AP crew and all its affiliates. Hey look, it's Playboy Cardi who got his career started as being an A$AP affiliate. Now, A$AP Rocky, when you're the face of the crew, people always sort of look to you to provide. Because yeah, you Mr. Money Boy now. So some people in your group are just kind of going to expect you to make the big purchases for your friends, you know? And that's how this whole thing began. In A$AP Relly's words, the guy who A$AP Rocky allegedly, he said, look, our friend passed away, another A$AP crew member. I figured A$AP Rocky was going to pay for the funeral. When I found out he didn't, I texted him saying, look, you changed, bro. But he says, uh-oh, A$AP Rocky ain't texting back. He's saying all this in court, by the way. He said, A$AP Rocky ain't texting back, so I got a little heated. He said, then Rocky and I eventually get on the phone, and A$AP Rocky talking about something. I was going to say something to you, but they told me if you got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all, so I ain't say nothing to you. He said, what? So A$AP Relly said that's when their relationship like pretty much soured. Then later on, A$AP Rocky hits him up saying, yo, you in LA? Relly said, yeah, I'm in LA. A$AP Rocky said, what hotel you at? A$AP Relly said, I ain't like how he said that, so I gave him a different hotel. A$AP Relly says they eventually meet up, and here's where things start to get wicked. Now there's video surveillance of almost everything that happens next, and that's important, so I need you to listen closely. So you see Relly allegedly walking up to an alleged, just pretend I'm saying allegedly after everything. So you see Relly walking up to A$AP Rocky. They get in a little scuffle. Relly says at this point he was shocked because he thought they was just gonna talk. He says he knows A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky is not really, you know, that knuck and buck type. And that's very important to the story as well, because A$AP Rocky is known to be a fashion boy, not really a violent type, in his own words as well. A$AP Rocky also had two other members of the A$AP crew behind him. Now, they all know each other. So the other A$AP members were just standing there. They're like, oh, damn. A$AP Rocky then pushes A$AP Relly out of the camera range. The other members of the A$AP crew jump in to separate them. They're like, no, y'all doing too much. Now remember, they were out of the camera range on this side. When the other crew members came to separate them, they start pushing Relly back in the camera range. A$AP Rocky then comes back in the camera range and starts reaching in his waistband. Then visibly pulls out a ting. But then they go out the camera range on this side. Remember what I just said. A$AP Rocky, the fashion boy. So A$AP Relly like, bro, I known you since you're not gonna do nothing. He was right. A$AP Rocky didn't do anything. A$AP Rocky walks back in the camera range. You see him put the ting away. And A$AP Relly says himself, Rocky did nothing at that point. Because here's where things start to get wickeder. A$AP Rocky is walking away. A$AP Relly says, okay, at this point, I was a little mad. A$AP Relly basically starts telling Rocky, you a sellout. You got a little money and you switched up on your boys. You got some of your boys still in the projects. He said one of our boys addicted to, I think it's this group member he was talking about, addicted to, and you ain't help him out, Rocky. He says this is when Rocky lost it. Turns around and starts letting them things go. He said at this point, he started jumping behind other group members talking about, oh, that boy Rocky busting. He said then one of his knuckles got grazed, but that was it, and everybody scattered. They allegedly have this part on video too, but it's super blurry. Now, here's the issue. Half of that story was caught on camera, but the other half, the important parts, were just the word of A$AP Relly. So let's go back to earlier in the story. Remember This whole thing started because ASAP Relly said, ASAP Rocky, you didn't pay for our boy's funeral arrangements. You switched up. Well, it turns out ASAP Rocky did pay for the funeral arrangements. ASAP Relly goes, oh yeah, ASAP Rocky did pay for the funeral arrangements. But I found out after we already started arguing. Does that make sense? ASAP Relly thought ASAP Rocky didn't pay for their friend's funeral arrangements, so they started arguing. Somebody probably hit up ASAP Relly earlier talking about, bro, you look stupid. He did pay for the funeral arrangements. But at this point, too much stuff has been said. They're already arguing. Now, why am I telling you this? Because in court, ASAP Rocky's lawyers basically want to prove that ASAP Rocky's a pretty decent guy, and ASAP Relly is just a jealous, hating friend that wants to start stuff for money. The police said, hating friend this, hating friend that. If ASAP Rocky let them things go in broad daylight, he going to jail. ASAP Rocky's lawyer then starts to pop off. He says, well, for one, the only person saying that ASAP Rocky somebody is ASAP Relly, the jealous friend. Nobody else said nothing. For two, police. When y'all went to the scene, did y'all find any evidence? The police said, no, we didn't find any evidence. But then, this part's important, ASAP Relly himself goes back to the scene and finds shell casings as evidence and gives them to you. The police said, yeah, that is what happened. And honestly, that in itself is so ridiculous, it'll probably be enough to get ASAP Rocky out of jail. ASAP Relly heard they ain't find any evidence, so he went back to the scene and says, police, I found evidence here. On top of that, the police raided ASAP Rocky's home because an alleged is very serious, and they found, but they were registered, and they didn't help the case, meaning those maybe didn't match the one used in the whole altercation. On top of that, the judge starts to get a little sarcastic with ASAP Relly, because ASAP Relly didn't report any of this happen until a few days later. And remember, he said he got, so the judge is like, you got, ASAP Relly's like, yeah, my knuckles got grazed. The judge is like, wow, I'm so glad you're safe. But all of that being said, that don't mean ASAP Rocky ain't do this. And that's why there's gonna be a trial, because an altercation did happen on camera, so it's up to a jury to decide. Side note, ASAP Relly is also suing ASAP Rocky for $25,000, like saying emotional damage and stuff like that. And that's why ASAP Rocky's lawyer is saying, yo, he's doing all of this for money. But at the end of the day, a trial hasn't happened yet, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what a jury decides.
What? Well, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Yeah, they both tripping. They both homies. But quick update. They offered ASAP Rocky, I think, 7 years suspended prison time, 4 months, I believe, jail time, and 3 years probation. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all would take that.
What really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death?
The fuck is that? Shit! I'm dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town. Shit flying in my mouth. The fuck? I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out of this country, motherfucker. I can't even see me.
What's the best kind of firework to buy?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
Where are your parents? Kid's sketchy. Back to you guys.
A Boise, Idaho woman is considered a medical miracle. Laura Esterman was struck by lightning nearly a month ago, and she was considered officially dead. Thankfully, CPR from her mom revived her heart, but she laid in a coma for 2 weeks, and then she defied all odds and woke up.
I should buy
Well, obviously, there was a problem with that tape. She doesn't really sound like that. She doesn't remember the accident, but the evidence is clear. I am so sorry.
Now to the story of a pig that is inspiring others. One pot-bellied pig has certainly endured his share of problems. Chris P. Bacon was born without the use of his... Yeah, you have to read this story.
I'm smiling, but it ain't funny. I'm smiling, but it ain't funny.
The one that gets me the most is the one that was on live TV. My man went from reporting to hood. Black people don't mess with bugs.
What really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death?
The fuck is that? Shit! I'm dying this fuck.
This woman and this dog, they get famous by pulling one of the craziest scams I've ever talked about. And there are a whole lot of dead bodies involved in this scheme. Now the woman, her name's Sandra, and Sandra is a dog trainer. And one day, she adopts this Doberman crossbreed from the pound, and his name is Eagle. So Sandra starts training Eagle to become a cadaver-sniffing dog, which is one of those dogs that helps police solve cold cases by sniffing out human remains. So she trains Eagle, and Eagle happens to be really good at cadaver sniffing. He goes out and he starts sniffing around, and he helps police solve case after case after case, and he starts getting known as one of the best in the business. In fact, he's so good at it that Sandra and Eagle start getting invited to speak at conferences. They get invited to do work in Bosnia and Panama to look for victims of political violence that happened there. They get invited to Ground Zero in New York City to help look for missing people after the September 11th attacks. They even get featured on an episode of the TV show Unsolved Mysteries.
His name is Eagle. He is a Doberman pinscher and one of a rare breed of specialists known as cadaver dogs.
And so pretty quickly, people are looking at Eagle like, damn, he's really good at this. How did he do that? He must have had a really talented trainer. Until. So 10 years go by, and Sandra and Eagle are still at the top of their game, solving cold cases left and right. But then one day, the FBI and local police, they ask Sandra and Eagle to help them solve a murder that had gone cold. And this particular murder case is a cold case where they've been looking through a large area of the woods for over 20 years, trying to find remains of this missing woman, who they suspect had been unalived and dumped there. So Sandra and Eagle and everyone working on this case, they all get together and they start searching through these woods. And pretty quickly, Eagle, boom, he sniffs out some bones. And everyone's all excited like, oh shit, the dog found some bones, this could be a lead. So they stop the search for a few months and they go and they forensic test the bones. But unfortunately, those DNA tests find that the bones belong to not the victim of the crime they're investigating, but they belong to 3 other random people. People not involved in this case at all. So police are like, well, that's weird. Why are multiple random strangers' bones out here? Did we just discover the dumping grounds of a serial killer? So then they resume the search. Now, one of the officers working on this case is this guy, Mark David. And Mark David has been personally trying to solve this murder for 20 years, and he is super invested in it. And on the first day they go back to searching, he's out there in the forest with the search crew, and he's searching his ass off, and he can't find anything. But then he looks over at Sandra and Eagle, and he sees Sandra reach down for her pant leg, almost like she's tucking it in her boot or something. And immediately after that, Eagle is signaling that he found something. So they go and they check it out, and it's another bone. And Mark David is like, that's weird. I was just on my hands and knees searching that area, and there was no bone there, and now there suddenly is? So Mark David, he starts getting suspicious, and he starts thinking to himself, wait a minute, what if Eagle isn't finding these bones at all? What if Sandra is planting all the bones there? Now, this is a big accusation to make, and Mark David, he doesn't want to just accuse anyone of anything. He doesn't even have proof. So he and 2 forensic technicians also working on the case, this guy John and this woman Jenny, John, Jenny, and Mark David, they all 3 decide to just keep a close eye on Sandra while they all search. Then the next day, they go back out into the woods to look for more human remains. And at one point, they're all searching near a small stream, and Sandra, she bends down and she low-key starts taking something out of her boot. And Jenny, who's been watching Sandra closely, she notices. And suddenly, bam, she reaches over and she grabs Sandra's closed fist. And Sandra's like, what the hell? And the 2 struggle back and forth. And Sandra refuses to let go of whatever it is that she's holding. And finally, they force open Sandra's hand. And she's holding a human bone. A bone that she was about to plant for Eagle to find. So it turns out that Eagle, he's a fine cadaver dog. He's as good as any other. But Sandra had been planting evidence at all these crime scenes, like bones and human remains, for Eagle to find. because she's been trying to make him look more talented at his job than he actually is. Now, cadaver dog trainers have access to some human remains and bones and stuff that they get from forensics labs so that they can train their cadaver dogs. That's how she has all these bones to just plant. And so Sandra has just been taking these remains and planting them at crime scenes and just faking it. Not just in this case, but on a lot of the cases she and Eagle have done over the past 10 years. It's not even clear when she started planting the evidence or why she even did it. She and Eagle were known as the best in the business, so I guess she just liked the attention. And at this time in the world, police wouldn't just DNA test every single bone fragment found at a crime scene. They would just assume that it belonged to the victim. So Sandra had been getting away with this for years. Anyway, so Mark, John, and Jenny, they report Sandra to the FBI. And the FBI immediately steps in and they search Sandra's car, and that's where they find a bag of human bones. Then they get a search warrant and they search her home, and then they find yet another bag of human bones. Girl's got a lot of bones. And so then, pow, they arrest her. And I don't have a mugshot of her, but here is her and Eagle in real life. And she's charged with falsifying material facts and a bunch of other stuff, and she takes a plea deal, and she's sentenced to 21 months in prison, and she's ordered to pay back over $14,000 in restitution. While Eagle, he wasn't charged with anything. That little jerk got off scot-free. Bad dog.
You are really dumb. For real.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. The only one that was actually doing his job was the dog.
These are just some of the major changes for America that Trump made official yesterday. He signed an executive order reinstating the death penalty for any illegal migrant who commits a capital crime and anyone convicted of murdering a law enforcement officer. He declared a national border emergency, halting all illegal entry immediately, which also paves the way for US troops to be sent to the southern border. He delayed the TikTok ban by 75 days. He ordered 2 name changes, the Gulf of America and Alaska's Mount Denali to Mount McKinley. He officially signed Doge into existence, which is the new department led by Elon to cut government spending. He signed a mandate where all federal workers must work in the office, saying that over half of the 2 million federal employees either work regularly from home or are fully remote. He pardoned about 1,500 defendants charged in the January 6 attack on the US Capitol. He signed an order to restore freedom of speech in America and end government censorship. He reversed 78 Biden administration regulations, including pausing foreign aid, reversing the acceptance of gender identity, now only recognizing 2 genders, and the other is to do with the pandemic, and I can't even say it on here, otherwise the video will get censored. Go to my YouTube for that. He is removing America from the World Health Organization in 12 months, saying that they are ripping off the country and the United States will stop all financial contributions to their work. He withdrew America from the Paris Climate Agreement for the 2nd time, calling it an unfair, one-sided ripoff. And that was just part of a much broader effort to roll back climate policy, because he also declared a national energy state of emergency, promising to fill up oil reserves and drill baby drill, and also cut off climate-related funding, which was approved under the Biden administration. And all of that was day one. So the question is, does this excite or scare you?
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
To be honest, it's both for me. It scares me and excites me. I mean, it excites me on the tip of, I do want us to be a strong nation. That I do want. But it scares me because he came in on his first day and did away with a lot of what Biden already has done. Y'all see what he has been saying and doing on his campaign. And then the first day he told you what he's going to do. Y'all let me know in the comments. Just drop an excited or scared emoji, or the word scared or the word excited in the comments below. That's a wrap on today's episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, keep God first, respect yourself, and remember to forgive. And I'll see you in the next vid. Quick.